And so one of the practices that we do that is so powerful for change is our form of affirmative prayer. We call it a spiritual mind treatment. It is a scientific way of moving from thoughts into actual experiences or ideas or things. It's a way of taking what is intangible and making it more tangible in our lives, whether it's an actual thing or whether it's an experience that we're having. And so we use this formula for speaking our treatments, for writing treatments and speaking them, that has been proven over and over again to really affect amazing changes in our lives. I know in my own personal life, when I apply spiritual mind treatment to issues that I'm having, things start to shift rapidly in my life. And so today we're going to go through and look at the steps of spiritual mind treatment, why we do each step. And then at the end, we're going to take the things that came through in your visioning last week and bring those into spiritual mind treatment and help you create your own treatment for bringing about this idea of becoming in your life. So let's take a look at the 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. We have several different acronyms that are used to help us remember those. One of my favorite ones is, are you ready to receive? Recognition is our first stage of spiritual mind treatment. Recognition is acknowledging the presence of the divine in all of its magnificent forms. And so we have this very first stage of treatment that we work through to build a feeling within us. Ernest Holmes called this the fire. The fire is this feeling that is built through this stage of recognition, where we actually sit with this idea of what spirit is and let it germinate within us. And as we germinate within us, we move into that second stage of spiritual mind treatment, unification. Unification is where I know that everything that I am is also an aspect of the divine, that I am totally aligned with spirit, that everything that spirit is within me. It was created me, and it created me from itself, so the only thing I could possibly be is spirit. And so as I sit with those ideas and I massage those ideas of unification, then that enhances that fire and really begins to allow it to work within me. And then we go into our third stage, which is the realization stage. Realization is where I speak truth. I know the truth that is absolute about whatever that situation is. I know the truth about my being. I know the truth about my connection with spirit. I know the truth that is working through me. And I make statements of what I am willing to let go of, what I am willing to become, what I am willing to embrace, what I know about myself, and how I'm willing to shift. Those are the things that we put into that realization stage. The fourth stage is the thanksgiving, where we are simply grateful for what we know is true. We don't go through a whole laundry list of all the things, but we make statements of general gratitude for spirit working through our lives. And so we're not grateful to something, we're grateful for something. And then the last stage goes back to what we talked about on Sunday, the surrender. We let it go. It is our release stage. So we have recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. Are you ready to receive? The release stage is simply, we just let it be. We turn it over to spirit, we surrender it to the divine, and we allow it to work knowing that it will. And so those are the 5 stages of spiritual mind treatment. So we're going to look at those 5 stages and how that relates to what came through in visioning. So when I was doing my visioning throughout the week, I noticed words coming up that were repeated frequently, and they'd be repeated maybe when I asked the question, what's the highest idea? And then maybe it would be repeated when I asked, what must I become, or what must I embody? Or at the anything else question that I asked at the end of visioning, is there anything else that wants to be known? And I would see these words repeated over and over again. And so one of the words that came through frequently for me was joy. And so in the visioning, then I saw that and I got that sense of joy, enthusiasm, excitement was permeating most of the visioning that I did. And so when I take that joy and I put it into spiritual mind treatment, I want to talk about that feeling of joy. I know that spirit is pure joy. Therefore, I know that it is moving through me right here and right now. I know that this sense of enthusiasm and excitement is permeating every cell of my being. And so I make up statements, I write statements that are supporting that feeling and actually allowing that feeling to build within me. Because that's what spiritual mind treatment is about. It's about taking something and actually creating a feeling within our body. It's not the words themselves that does the work. It's the feeling that is embodied within our very being where the changes actually come. It's the work of the soul that now begins to have that knowing, that sense of this is the truth. I know what I know. I know that there is this joy within me. And when I sit in the joy and I feel the joy and I allow it to bubble up in me, it expands and it becomes a bigger part of my life. And then I start to see it everywhere. I see joy around me. I experience joy. I go do the joyful things. I develop an enthusiasm for the different things that I'm working on, different things that I'm doing in my life. All of that begins to build. And, it's that whole idea of what we put our attention on increases. And so if I'm focused on developing this feeling tone within myself, I'm going to start seeing it around me. It's just the way it works. And so we take anything like that we have and we begin to bring it into the different stages of spiritual mind treatment. We can take the things that we need to let go of. When we're envisioning, we ask the question, what must I release? What must I let go of? What is hindering me? What are my fears and doubts? Those kind of things. And we take those and we make statements in our spiritual mind treatment to allow us to begin to more easily release that. I release the fear that is holding me back. I release any sense of doubt. I let go of feelings of unworthiness. I release any sense of lack and limitation. Those kind of things. When I claim that also begins to create a feeling tone in me. It's like that stuff doesn't have a place to operate in me anymore. I don't have to have that. I surrender to this power and this presence within me, and it allows me to release these things that are holding me back. And so I'm massaging it and I'm working with it throughout the week and allowing it to create a feeling tone within me that will actually begin to shift things. We can talk about what I must become or what I must embody or embrace. Those are some of the questions that we ask in the visioning process. I might not be there yet, but I know it's possible. And so what must I do to allow myself to embody that? I embody the pure essence of joy. Well, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But if I start making treatment statements about that, I am going to find in my experience that it's happening more often than not. Because again, I start to see those things around me. If we talk about what we need to release, again, Reverend Michael Beckwith says in his book on visioning that all spiritual growth is about release. It's 100% release. That's where we must really change. It's letting go, because if we go back to our principles and we know and we understand that we are one with spirit, that all that it is who we are, then we know that we're perfect right now. There can't be anything in the way. But we have these human ideas that are blocking the way, that are not letting us see what it is that is really the truth of who we are. And so we have to begin to release those things and allow those to change our experience and allow them to create a new experience within us. And so working with what I am, what I know, what I'm releasing or letting go of, what I am embodying or becoming or embracing, and what is happening through me, what is becoming through me. So for instance, I can say a statement like, joy is becoming alive within me. I have an enthusiastic attitude that is growing deeper and stronger each day. When I make these affirmative statements of truth and I put them into my realization stage of the treatment, then things really begin to change in my life. Okay, so we're gonna go through a little practice here to actually do a spiritual mind treatment. So what I'd like you to do is to take a moment and write down those words that were repeated over and over again, and see how you can put that into your spiritual mind treatment. And I'm going to lead us through the first two stages of spiritual mind treatment, the recognition and the unification. And then I'm going to start the realization stage with some general statements of realization. And then I'm going to pause and give you a moment for you to state your realization statements. And then I will do the Thanksgiving and the release. So I just invite you to take a moment and settle in. It's always good to ground ourselves first. I do that most easily by just breathing, closing my eyes, feeling the breath moving through my body. And so, as I said, I'll begin with the realization and the unification, and I'll go into realization and pause. Give you a few moments, and then I will do the Thanksgiving and the release. And so turning within, I simply recognize that there is only one thing. I know that one thing is God, but it goes by many names and it shows up in many forms. It is Spirit, universal intelligence, divine creator, unconditional love, perfect peace, infinite intelligence. It is the power and the presence that has brought forth everything into existence. And it is one. And I know that I am one with it, that I am perfectly aligned with this divine presence, that it is in me, moving through me and showing up as me in all that I am and all that I do. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for everyone else. For we are each a perfect emanation of the divine, filled with that grace and that divinity pouring forth through us. And so I speak my word here for each one of us. I know that right here and right now, an opening has happened. That each one of us is a clear and receptive channel through which the divine moves forth into expression. I know that each one of us is in the process of becoming. And oh, how good it is to witness this process of unfoldment of spirit into the lives of each of these beautiful, beloved people. I'm so grateful to see it happening. I'm so grateful to feel it. I'm so grateful to know it in my experience. I just give thanks for the willingness of each person to do this work, to become even greater expression of the divine in their own individual lives. And I release this word into the law, into the creative mind of spirit that always says yes, that knows no lack or limitation, no fear or doubt, but simply the unfoldment of itself in the most magnificent ways. I let it go, and I let it be. And so it is. And so now it's your opportunity to do this, to practice spiritual mind treatment for yourself. It is a wonderful practice. It will absolutely shift things in your life. Do it daily. Do it multiple times during the day. Do it weekly. Do it what fits into your time schedule. But the more you do it, the more results you will see. And the better your experience will be. Focus on the feeling tone. Focus on what it is you want to experience. And allow the words to come out through you. There's no wrong way of doing it. But there's so much to be gained from doing it.